It's been exactly 1 year since my last YouTube video, and in this video I'm going to tell you exactly why I stopped making YouTube videos. Also, this year 24, a lot has happened, a lot of good, bad, but I would say mostly good. And you may be thinking, hey Duco, are you still working as a closer? Are you doing appointment setting? What have you been up to, dude? And also that I'm going to share exactly with you what I've been up to, what I've been doing, where I've been. And right now we are in Portugal. This is my home, this is my base, standing at one of my favorite beaches, checking the surf. It's a beautiful day. It's a bit cold though, so I would say let's go inside. And if you stay until the end of this video, I think I'm going to share some valuable lessons that I'm very excited to share with you, so make sure to stay until the end. But for now, let's grab a coffee. All right, so let's just kick off by where we left off, the Philippines. So when I was in the Philippines, I had a really good time and I love the Philippines. But what I was noticing that being there in a tropical environment just didn't help me. I felt more like surfing, being outside, and I felt like I was really losing a momentum that I built up that year. So overall, being in the tropics didn't help me. Now, yeah, I was just like making YouTube videos, which is fun, but I felt it was more a creative side of me, having a good time and just sharing some of my experiences, which I love. But then I kind of neglect my main focus, which was closing, sales, and really building a momentum to working towards some form of financial freedom. Really noticed that my business was on a big decline, like my income was plunging. And so I just really had to do something because, yeah, this couldn't keep on going forever. So I decided to invest at the time when I was in the Philippines in myself. I invested in a closers course with one of the best closers or most, well-known sales reps around the world. He has worked with Tony Robbins, with Grant Cardone, people like that. And I decided to go with his course, invested in myself to basically sharpen my skill sets as a closer, but also to increase my opportunities on the market. Because also joining his course, you got a guarantee to be connected with one of their clients. So then I decided to make a very bold move. I decided to quit my job where I was working at the time as a closer and to just go fully focus on the course and just focus on one. And yeah, I was like, on to the next. So because the Philippines wasn't really helping me, the environment, I knew that I had to go somewhere else. And I also knew that being in a place of winter would be a better place for me to focus and basically go all in on myself and go monk mode, so to say. So what did I do? I looked on Airbnb, see what was available in Europe, the next place. And I always wanted to go to Spain, to Granada, and I always wondered how it was to live there. So I found an Airbnb and I decided to go to Granada. Now, why Granada? Because I love the Spanish culture. I speak Spanish fluently, and I've always wanted to be on that side of Andalusia and just really experience what it's like. I love the flamenco, I love the whole culture there and the art and the food as well. And the cool thing about Granada is that it's right next to the Sierra Nevada, which are the mountains, and you can snowboard and ski there, which is also something I haven't been doing for a long time. So those were all like points adding up. And so I decided to book a ticket back to Portugal because my van was there. And then I flew back on the 27th of December. And then I saw my friends, spent some time with my friends there. We celebrated the New Year's evening. And the next days, on the 4th of January, I packed my van with my whole life in there. And I drove to a place I've never been in my life. I didn't know anybody. So more reasons to focus on myself. Now let's just run through the year one by one. So January, I packed my whole life, got into the van, and I drove to Granada. I arrived in my new apartment, and this apartment looked like a James Bond scene, pretty epic. Then I found a gym, and in Granada it's pretty hard to park. And actually after a week, my van broke down. And I was like, no, what do I do now? And there was no money coming in, of course, because, I didn't have a job. I was just studying as a closer. And so I decided to buy a bike. And that was the best thing I've ever done because it was so much easier to get around. And I didn't use my car. And so actually I decided to start some form of a game because I made an agreement with myself, like, okay, I cannot use the car until I land a new job as a closer. When I send my first invoice, that's when I'm going to repair the car. And so, I focused all on basically going to the gym. My mom visited me in the middle of January, and I got to share the beautiful place, Granada, with my mom. Then in February, I landed a role as a closer. I worked for a company in the United States. Actually, they were working in California time, so it was really tough. Also, this was a role in the insurance industry that I didn't know anything about. Super tough language, super tough people. They're very cold, very businessy. It was all B2B, business to business. So it was really hard to do that, but I was willing to do whatever it takes to make this work. I was working from 6 to 1 a.m. in the midnight. Really tough times, but I was just so eager to make it work. And I just kept on pushing. Then March arrived. Then it was my birthday. And for my birthday that month, I decided that I wanted to go snowboarding. I have never snowboarded in my life, but I surf. So I was really keen to try this out. I had a lesson. I went with a friend who I met in Granada, and it went really well. Actually, after 30 minutes, the teacher said like, hey, let's go up to the slopes, because he said like, dude, you're crushing it. And then I fell in love with snowboarding. So it was really, really cool. And then a week later, I went for another time to go snowboarding. So really cool. And the Sierra Nevada is so, so beautiful. It's not big, but it's just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now with my closing role, I was actually doing some closes. So I was making some money, not a lot, but I was able to then also fix my car finally. At the end of March, I actually got a really cool opportunity. I got the opportunity to work for one of my previous coaches. I had coaching with her before. She's doing really, really well. And she's helping other coaches to create a thriving business through having the right mindset, scaling with the right system and all of that. And that felt more aligned with me than actually working for some insurance company in the US. So I had to make the decision to jump over. And that was pretty tough because, you say no to one other. How do you deal with it? How do you talk to your, to your bosses, so to say, that you're gonna leave their part and work for somebody else? But it just really, I had to stay true with myself, just aligned much better with what I like to do. Now, the way it works when you decide to work for somebody new, you always get a trial period of 30 calls. And with those 30 calls, they can require you to close a certain percentage. So if they say like, okay, from the 30 calls, you need to close a minimum of 20 or 30% of the deals. If you make that, you're in. If not, you're out. Because I really wanted this, I put a lot of pressure on myself. And I've been just like learning the script, studying the script, practicing, and really going for it. But I felt like there was so much pressure on me. But I gave it a shot. In April, I moved to Portugal. I had my car fixed and I have everything in there. And I was so happy to go back to Portugal because honestly, Granada was beautiful, but not being able to surf for 3 months because it was pretty much landlocked. That was pretty hard on me, because I love the beach so much, and I can just feel how much relief it gives me. It takes all my stress away. And yeah, I wasn't there with friends, so I was actually pretty lonely. I was very dedicated. I went to the gym almost every day. But yeah, I wasn't that happy because I just didn't have any friends, and yeah, I was a bit lonely. So then I came back to Portugal in April, and it was so good to be back. I still worked back down for my coach, and I went through the trial. And then in May, we realized that after all this hard working that I didn't make it. I didn't make the trial. So, it was actually pretty hard on me because closing is so cool. It's such a nice role, but it's also very confronting. And I had a lot of self-doubt after I didn't make it here. It was so tough to close these people, and I really put it on myself. So I was full of doubt, and I didn't know even if closing was going to be the thing that I wanted to be doing anymore. But then I decided to work for the first company that I've been working for, and I've been doing very well there. So yeah, they asked me to come back. So I was like, okay, well, let's do it. And after that, I decided to go all in, use everything that I learned in the course on my first role for the insurance company, now for my coach. I learned so many things. I had so many objections that I had to deal with that actually I didn't realize how good I have become. And now I was back in the first role, and I absolutely nailed it. Like June was the first, or May was the first month. June was the second month, so a bit of build-up time. And then in July came around, and I had my best month in my closing career. I made well over 10K in that month. I think it was like 13K that I did in a month, so pretty crazy. I think I closed like well over like nearly $300,000 in sales revenue. It's pretty crazy. But that was all because of all the hard work, the dedication that I've been doing in those last months. And because I had the opportunity to have such difficult objections that I became, in the end, like all the struggle made my job here much easier. So that's basically what I've been up to. Also, August, September, October, November, pretty much been focusing on closing, and then really decided to also have a good balance with life. And so I really combined it with surfing, with friends, had a great summer, and yeah, things are going really well. I would say like the lesson that I've learned from this year is to really focus on one. And when you focus on one thing, you can actually become an expert of one thing. Because at this stage, I feel like I am an expert in closing. I am doing very well with it. And I have become very good with objection handling, which last year I wasn't good at objection handling. I did not know how to do it. And now I know. And now I can use it in a way. I put a lot more value into myself. So I'm more valuable on the market, which increases my chances, my opportunities. I've been doing really well this last year. And that is all because I decided to focus on one. And YouTube is great, but it takes a lot of time to edit every video and to prepare everything in advance. So I love it, and I'm getting back right now. But sometimes it's good to just focus on one and make sure that you're thriving one thing so you can build the next thing, so to say. And then another thing is that when you focus on one, there will be a lot of challenges, there will be a lot of obstacles, right? But just knowing that we only get better by doing more of it, right? If you go surfing for the first time, you will suck at it. It takes a lot of days to learn how to surf, and in the beginning to maybe even stand on the board for the first time, because there's so many things going on. But you cannot expect on the first day to be here Whereas you're doing something that's so difficult and it requires so much work and knowledge and effort, it takes those tiny steps to get there. And the best way to get there quickly is by being consistent and putting all your energy in one thing. Because if you do it and pour your energy in multiple things, it's gonna be tough to grow that one, right? So, well, I hope this was valuable, and yeah, I'm excited to be back and to make more videos. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.